What is love? If we know what it should be, how come we keep getting it wrong? Hello, Kristen. How are you?
I'm well, Kirsten, and how are you?
We need a little jingle on that, don't we, Kristen?
I get that jingle, like the Ren and Stimpy show that used to be on Simpsons.
How's that relevant?
Because they used to sing.
You're going to sing, aren't you?
No, I'm not now. You've embarrassed me.
Okay, after the show, you've got to sing to me.
Yeah, righto.
Okay, so here we are. Kristen Coggan, lovely to have you along, my darling.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Everybody, Kristen is a dear, dear friend, and we just have a lot of fun, so we thought we'd come here and have fun talking about quasi-important, actually very important issues, but they don't have to be all heavy. We can enjoy them as well.
Yes.
Yes.
No one will listen to you if it's all heavy all the time.
That's right. That's right. And this podcast is Signpost for Living by Dr. Kirsten Hunter, that's me. And basically these books, they cover 205 areas over 6 books, and we are fleshing out some of those areas and having a good old chat about them.
Yes.
Basically.
What are the names of your books?
Oh, you're going to do that, are you? Okay.
You just asked me to sing.
That means you're going to sing, right? It does. Okay, ready? First book, Control Your Consciousness. Second book, Understanding Myself. Third book, Mindfulness, State of Flow. Fourth book, Understanding Others, Loved Ones to Tricky Ones. Fifth book, Parenting. Sixth book, Nailing Being an Adult. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed.
I'm impressed too.
No, I dream about this stuff. But okay. So today we're going to talk about love.
Great.
Now, isn't this a fascinating topic? People think they know what they're talking about with love, and this is the whole conversation. When I say to you, what is love? What
I
comes?
sang.
You did sing, actually. You did sing, and my beautiful John, who's producing this, he put on a bit of music, didn't he?
Yes.
And we did dance. We did.
Yeah, we did. But anyway.
Pity this isn't YouTube. We could do that.
Thankfully.
Yeah. So, but seriously, what is love? What comes to mind? What comes to mind?
What is love? I love my cat, and I love the way my cat loves me. It's unconditional.
Let's work towards people.
Okay.
Let's talk talk about love relationships, partner relationships.
Okay.
Let's keep the focus very narrow on love partners, life partners. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what is love?
So what's your sense you've got 2 gorgeous kids, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure when we think about their futures with their partners, what do you want for them? What's your idea of love?
My idea of love is respect and trust.
Yep.
Putting up with the good and the bad. Understanding that when it gets rocky and low, it will be back up again. It's not great all the time.
Yeah, that's very real.
But when it is great, it's fantastic. It's reliable.
Yeah, being able to depend on each other and feel secure.
Loyalty.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. And so, it's fascinating. If we were to talk to 100 people and say, what is love? I would argue that there's going to be an enormous overlap in what we think of love. And it is all of those positive attributes, which really comes down to feeling secure, feeling safe, and that person being, the person who you can kind of come home to, and they're your anchor point, really. Yeah. But here's the fascinating thing. That isn't actually our understanding of love at all psychologically.
Right.
Yeah, here's a problem. Our experience, our relationship with love is actually our habit of love. It's actually what is familiar to us. And I'm going to explain because I see your confused face. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. So our sense of love is actually what have we experienced in the past with regard to significant others. And that is actually what is familiar to us. And we've got our conscious awareness. Yep, here we are. You've got a gorgeous scarf. Yes. Subconscious. So I drive a manual car, but I don't know which foot goes on the clutch. Yeah. So I know, but I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Subconscious. And then we've got our unconscious awareness. So that is the deep stuff that you just really have very little awareness of. And there are archives and and all of our instinctual stuff. So here's the thing. When we actually look at what behavior is repeated and what behavior we tend to reach for, it is familiar.
Yep.
Patterns repeat, yeah? So if somebody has had a previous experience where they have been not treated well or they haven't been listened to, cared for, that actually is familiar to them on a subconscious level. On a conscious level, they will bitch and moan about it and complain about it as they should.
Yes.
But in truth, it's also what they're familiar with.
Okay.
So here's the big problem. When people have had a poor standard of experiences with significant others, and then they go into a situation with someone who treats them well, they feel very uncomfortable. They feel very unfamiliar. They feel foreign. It's just really uncomfortable for them. And because what's happening for them is there is a clash in their intellectual concept of love and actually what they're comfortable with, what's familiar to them.
Yep.
And so there's this incredible tug of war between them, between their unconscious self and their familiar space, and consciously he's a nice guy. Why can't I get into him?
Yes.
You know, he's boring.
It's easy.
It's easy. Yeah, I'm used to the bad boys. Yeah. Now there's a lot of cliches there, but there's a lot of truth in it too.
Yep.
So we have all these people that keep getting they're in a bad situation. They get out and then they look for another bad situation. They get out, they look for another bad situation, and the patterns repeat. Of course, in the worst form, that's domestic violence. And a lot of people who have no concept of what is going on here, they say, why are they there? Why don't they just leave? Or why do they keep going back to another loser? You know, it's not that simple, but yeah. So this is the problem.
I used to call myself a wanker magnet. When I was in my 20s, yeah.
Was that a bit of a skill, a gift that you had?
Yes, obviously I had some subconscious things going on there. Yeah, I was a wanker magnet.
Really? So if they were no good, then you were drawn to them?
Yes.
Actually drawn to them, or just?
Yes, or they were drawn to me. It seemed to be. Maybe I'm the wanker. I don't know.
No, but how did you react when they would be off track and you didn't really like their behaviour?
Well, you just learnt. I'm having to go back into the dark depths of my memory. I guess you just end up seeing this. When you're younger, you don't see the signs, I guess, and it's all a bit too late.
Yep.
As you got older and more experienced in this field, you see it probably before you're getting too close or too in depth with it all.
Yeah, definitely. So I will have people come along and they will say, I just can't leave this person. I keep going back. That's a very common issue. I know all these things about them, but I'm just so comfortable with them, and they keep going back to being treated not well. And when I say not being treated well, I mean somebody who they're combative, they cut you down, they're critical. Their goal is to win, not to actually be constructive and work something through. So it's very much about how can I manipulate this and dominate you, all of that sort of stuff. Or there's so that's the abuse side, or there's neglect. So neglecting, you're not important, your needs aren't important, I'm not going to care for your welfare, or, you know, it's basically what can I get from you, as opposed to how can I nurture you and love you back. Yeah, so it's a very big problem. So it's fascinating when people say, oh, yeah, I know what love is, no problem whatsoever. And then you say, okay, but what is your experience of love?
Yeah.
Very
sometimes the old saying, full of cliches tonight, sometimes it's better to be miserable with that person than to be miserable alone. That's, I think, the frightening thing for some people.
Well, a lot of people
being
actually,
alone, they're scared of it.
Which is crazy, isn't it? Because when you actually talk with them and say, how are you travelling, what's good, they spend their time talking about how this person is tormenting to them, you know, and how miserable they are. And then they have this concept that being with someone is better than not being with someone, but in truth that person is toxic to you.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Which is a whole other
and
conversation.
being on your own and being independent and doing your own thing is so empowering.
Absolutely. And ironically, when someone's in a dysfunctional relationship, that person isn't in your corner. They're not actually an asset. They're not actually supporting you, and you're actually coping despite them. So you're not losing a support.
No.
You're losing a bully. Yeah.
Yep.
But we have this concept. I know when I've been single, you know, leaving a situation that's not good and being single, and then, I know that even though I'm a very capable person and I'm very self-reliant, I've even had that thought of, oh my gosh, I'm single now. Can I do it? Even though I've been doing it all along.
Yeah.
It's quite extraordinary.
Yep. And you can find the most silly excuses or reasons or justifications to stay with that person. I stayed with someone too long because I liked his dog. And again, the dog thing, like
back to the animals.
I really liked the dog and I was really sad to leave the dog, but it came to a point where that person wasn't in my corner.
Well, that's animals can be like family members. Well, they are. And people can think of them as their children. So it's not a big stretch. I know people that have well and truly stayed together for their dogs, not cats actually. Just dogs.
Well, I haven't stayed with anyone for their cat, but
I know. Okay, so I'm going to talk about yachts.
Okay.
There you go, segue. So here's the thing. I'm a very visual person, and this is the analogy that I chat with people about. So, you know, they've just got themselves out of a bad situation, and they're saying, you know, what do I do from here? How do I navigate this? How do I get healthy? And I say, okay, so here's the deal. You have been on a boat, and that boat is not seaworthy. It's taking on water. It's going down, but you've been on it for a very long time, and it is your home base. So you're very comfortable with it. So you know it's not good, and you know you've got to get off, and you've gotten off. That's really great. Okay, so you know intellectually what is good for you, and that is something that is seaworthy, something that is robust, healthy. It's going to take you for that life trip, right? How about I go put you on this gorgeous big white yacht? How do you feel? And I say that to them, and they actually kind of quiver. They actually, that'd feel very uncomfortable. And that's the point.
Oh, see, I'd love that. I was thinking spa. I was thinking also as you were describing that yacht, yes.
But if you've been living in something that's really kind of a sinking shoebox, it's not, you go on a white yacht and you feel like you're an intruder.
Yes.
You feel like you don't belong. It's above your caliber, I hate to say. And you just feel really awkward, really uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable. This is really weird. Intellectually, you know it's the key. It's the key to your future. It's going well. But you are really, really awkward.
Yep.
And they really relate to that. And I say, okay, so how long, what should you do? Should you get off the yacht or stay on the yacht? And, obviously in relationships, you don't just go out and say, okay, you're a healthy person and you tick the boxes, I'm just going to be with you. Obviously, you have to have the bond and the connection and all of the good stuff. But basically it's about don't sabotage a good thing. And so what do? You stay on the yacht. And how long does it take for you to become comfortable in that yacht? Not that long. You'd be surprised. So it's really about people having this conscious awareness of what am I doing right now? My old habits are repeating. I don't want them to repeat. I have to create new habits. That is going to be extremely uncomfortable, and I'm not going to feel like I deserve this person. And I feel like they're going to realize I'm not good enough, and they're going to break up with me. Maybe I'll break up with them first, or if I'm with somebody who isn't so great, at least I feel more secure that they're going to want to be with me. So all these insecurities are just smashing around their head. And, but hang in there and be consciously aware of what you're doing so that you don't do it, and you can actually take your standard of living because of your standard of relationships up to that next level. So it's an incredible life skill. And again, and I say this every time we get together, this is not common sense. People don't know this stuff. Drives me nuts. Hence Signposts for Living. That's why I've written these books. So this information isn't in psychologists' hands, it's in the public's hands. Yep. So, I remember, bit of disclosure here. Here we go. You're caring, right?
Yes. I'm just wondering what else you're going to disclose.
No, I grew up with love. I grew up with love for my beautiful mum, but I grew up in a war zone with a lot of difficult people and personalities, and it wasn't safe. It was not safe at all. And if I was to put my head out and say, hey, this is me or this is what I need, then I would be in danger of being abused. And I was a smart cookie and I was not going to let that happen. So I basically grew up with lovely love from my mum, but lots of kind of keep your head down, stay safe, don't put your hand up for what your needs are, and just basically keep the peace.
Yep.
Yeah. So my love template was pretty stuffed up. It was basically give, don't receive. Don't make a ripple with regard to what your needs are, and to tolerate people who are not treating you well, because that was actually normal to me.
Yep.
Yeah. So you could imagine what happened then, right? New relationship. I was very comfortable giving. I wasn't good at receiving. When issues were a problem, I couldn't put them on the table and say, hey, this is not okay, because I was about ducking and hiding. Even when someone was giving, I was incredibly uncomfortable. Stop that. That's not, what are you doing? I feel I'm freaking out here. And so my adult life has really been about learning what my previous patterns are, and learning what a good standard is, and learning to have a voice and learning to advocate for myself. None of that came naturally from my background. And I think that's a real gift, because now I'm able to articulate it clearly, and I don't take it for granted.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's...
You articulate very clearly when you want something and how you want it.
Fantastic.
That's what I love about you. You never know where you never have to wonder where you fit in with anything.
I'm really straightforward.
I mean that in a loving way, you know that.
I know.
But what you're saying is interesting. You have to really consciously think about it and turn it around. And value yourself and realise that you deserve it.
That's the core, isn't it? Literally, good one. It's about saying I'm important. My job is to advocate for myself. It's not someone else's job. And it's more important to get in and problem solve this out and have a good outcome than it is to just duck and avoid ripples.
And you can change things.
Yeah.
You do not have to put up with it or not change or that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's another session that we'll have a good chat about, but communication. So, how to communicate so the other person feels safe and they keep their barriers down so that their ears and brain are actually working, and how to educate each other about where you're both at. And if you're with somebody who cares for your welfare and doesn't want to do you harm, then, you can join the dots.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. Love. What is love? Now we know. Well, we don't know actually, do we? We know.
We've got a better idea, bit of a better idea.
We know to watch out for when we're off track with it.
Yes.
And we know to try to follow our intellect with it rather than go with any bad habits, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just reflect.
Absolutely. And, I we don't have, well, I've got a 20-year-old. We've got a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, 15-year-old. Yours are not quite 20.
Not quite there.
No.
One's 16 going on 26.
Yes. So they're about to discover this whole love conversation, aren't they?
Well,
and we're going to
sit
back and
watch
agonise.
this happen.
Oh, gosh. So there you go,
There you
darling.
go.
Was that interesting?
Yeah, it was. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much.
There you go. It's good to have a good old chat. I'll have a chat with you any day, darling.
There you go.
Oh, you want to do the spiel? That sounds
Is
fantastic.
it time for the spiel?
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, this is where I tell you where you can find Kirsten. She's everywhere. You can find her at kirstenhunterauthor.com. Facebook, she's Kirsten Hunter Author. Instagram, she's Kirsten Hunter Author as well. Twitter is Kirsten Hunter AU. YouTube channel is Psych in Your Car. And this podcast is Signposts for Living with Dr. Kirsten Hunter.
You did that so well. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
You take care. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.